All right. Well, we're live. Yeah. And we have only one viewer at the moment. It's all good. May have more of a view of this later. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it simple, guys. I just, this is pretty much more or less for fun tonight, and um, discuss a few things specifically. Maybe if you guys might have heard of some recent sightings, or maybe because there's things I don't always get to see all the postings. I do try to look at a lot of the postings and stuff that people share. I actually Google a lot of stuff to find things. That's how actually I come up with a few things that are recent. Um, because I'm some of you guys might be actually members of more groups than I am. I mean, I got quite a bit, but sometimes I get too many, and it's too many to keep up with. So I don't try to keep up with all of them either. But I keep up with the more active ones that actually share more, because I get a lot of theirs on my newsfeed. But um, there's a couple other things I'll actually bring up. I'll go ahead and share them now. There's something actually, that I'm actually trying to do. Some of you guys are probably aware of that award certificate of recognition that I actually did online for Kimmy for her vocalization skills.
Look
Well,
good.
actually, yeah, I actually have that printed out, and it's actually I got the frame for it, so I'm actually gonna print that out, and it'll be actually in a frame. Frame still wrapped up right here, so but so yeah, I'm gonna be doing that for her. Also, I have with that same certificate, I could edit it, and actually, Paul Hayes is the one who got it for me. It's something his wife did online, and she pretty much created it and did the editing for me. But then I saved it to my computer. Now I could edit and play with it and do whatever. Um, so, but there's something else I want to try to do. This goes for anybody. It's not just anybody within the E.C.B.R.O. But I want to try to start doing awards for best evidence. Um, Best evidence in regard, it could be DNA, it could be foot cast. Um, I think what I'll do when I start actually getting it situated, I'll start something, um, and then by a certain point, we'll maybe actually have a special show just to discuss and share people's evidence. And then with if it's a DNA, the only thing I ask about DNA is it can't be just like a hair sample or blood or anything. Um, you have to have, if possible, you got to have documentation backing it up, something that will back it up. Um, Also, I don't know, like I say, it could be anything. If sometimes even photo evidence, clear photo evidence. It could be a picture of a squatch, et cetera, et cetera. I'll get more details. I'll make a blog post up for it, and I'll start sharing it. Just something I was thinking about earlier, and I've been trying to figure out a way to start maybe doing something with awards. So I don't see why not with evidence, the best evidence award. Maybe I'll actually have other categories as well. I think it'll be interesting. It might start promoting some, you know, maybe more accurate evidence. I don't know. I think it'll be fun too. Um, Before we went live, we were discussing a couple things. We were talking about recent sightings in Virginia. I know Fred is familiar with Prince George County. Cliff, did you say you knew about that as well?
I just saw the report online.
Okay. Yeah. Um, because I read it real brief earlier, and if I let's see, the gentleman believes it's a squatch that's living on his property. And I believe it was what is it? He was standing outside, heard a crack, turned around, and there it was, 15 feet tall. That's his claim, 15 feet tall. I don't know. That 15 feet tall to me is a little bizarre.
The
Even gigantic.
the area that he lived in, if you look at the when it shows the posting of Sasquatch, it's like a kind of suburban. Is what it looks like. It doesn't say
Right.
if it's in the county, if it's in the city, or anything. But when I first saw it, somebody sent me a link, and what it was, He was standing in his backyard, and right behind him, like 20, 30 yards, they had a circle, a red circle with something in there. And I guess he thought it was still sitting there, so he said he threw a bag of Jack Links back there to him. But when he said 15 foot tall, that kind of went from a home run to left field in the out of bounds part. You know?
Now, yeah, I mean that there is what, like, when I got to that part there, I was like, really? But then again, people do exaggerate, and maybe there's a lot of people that are not really good at estimating accurately enough to give judgment on sizes or detail. But yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. I think it's kind of iffy though. I mean, maybe it was about a 9 foot tall, 10 foot tall, and maybe 5 feet's 10 feet to him. I don't know.
Yeah, because
So
he kept turning around looking back there, and he says, well, it ain't back there. Yeah, he'll be back there in a little while.
yeah,
But like he's expecting it to, come bebop. I'm like, kind of bebop him up there, standing. He's like, hey, I'm over here. Throw me another bag. That's kind of attitude that it sounded like to me.
right.
But it was interesting, to say the least.
Is there any other sightings that you guys might be familiar with that I am not mentioning it or thinking of right now that might be recent?
Some friends of mine in New Jersey sent me a 4-second video, and they sent me audio. And the audio was an hour and 1 minute long, hour and 11 minutes long. And 6 minutes after they left the area, like what they did, they put a bowl with some M&Ms in it. And they took and put the audio recorder down next to it, and there was a bag there. You could hear Squatches walk in. You could hear them breathe. Then you could hear them pick the M&Ms up and start eating. And they sat there about close to an hour.
Right.
And was messing with it. They picked it up because the sound went muffled for a while. Then they sent me a photograph of Squatch to the left of the thing. So she sent me the video. She sent me the picture, and I blew it up. And what I got was a Squatch jumping from tree to tree in a pine thicket. She took and sent me a video, and I clicked all 4 seconds of it, and you can see a young Squatch in a pine thicket jumping from left to right, from tree to tree. While when they left the area, she had the camera facing back toward her area. So they left for an hour. And she pulled a Scott Carpenter trick and caught that and put the camera facing behind her and caught that Squatch tree to tree.
Now, was it like a GamePro video camera or one of those?
It was just like my camera.
Oh, okay.
They just
okay, like a camera. She was just had it recording while she was walking away.
Yeah, she kind of acted like, she was, kind of like, you throw someone on the shoulder and you just walk away. That's what she acted like she wasn't doing nothing. Like,
she's acting nonchalant, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Apparently that's worth doing. There's several people. Apparently that's a good strategy. Several people have captured some interesting film.
Yeah. Yeah, she says there's at least 9 in this group. And they come in about 2 minutes after they got out of that field. You can hear them walk in, sit down. You can hear them take a stick and go on the audio recorder. Then you hear them. That's what the M&Ms. And the funny thing is, you can hear them crunching M&Ms. And about 5 minutes before the end of the audio is when they come back in, and you can hear them scuffle around, try to put everything back, and then you can hear them walk away. But that little one jumped from tree to tree. I zoomed it in, and clear as I could get it, and you could definitely see it jump one tree to another, which is probably about a 4.5, 5 foot jump between. It just is in a pine thicket, and it was fascinating. The audio The audio was. I tell you what, I'll talk to her if she lets me. If she lets me, gives me permission, I'll send you the audio.
Okay. Now, did this happen? Was this taking place out of New Jersey or
This was in New Jersey.
New Jersey? Okay. This
Yeah.
must be NJ.
I can't really disclose.
I have my feeling too.
I
It is.
promise. I am not disclosing. I'm just telling you what I heard
I
and what
know.
I seen. You
All
know,
right.
and all I can say is it's very compelling because if they would have held that camera a little more to the east, if they're walking out, so it'd been a little more to your left. If they would have had the camera turned just a little bit more, I mean, it was about maybe an inch into the screen that you could see it jump.
Hmm.
Sent me the video, and I clicked it from 0 to 4 seconds, and you could
Right.
actually see it jump. So apparently, it was watching them when they left.
Right.
So it was pretty interesting. But I'll talk to her. If she gives me permission, I'll send you the audio.
Yeah, that's interesting though. Yeah, ask her about the photos too. If I could look at the photos, or if
I
that's
got
something we can share publicly.
I got the photos.
Oh, okay. Well, will she
But
mind if you share them publicly, or?
so I got to talk to her first, see what she says.
All right. Yeah, definitely do that. That's interesting.
Yeah,
That sounds very interesting.
I promised her that I wouldn't share anything unless they give me permission.
Right.
But I can tell you, the audio was mind blowing. I mean, in her audio, the first 15 minutes was exactly like it was in my audio. As soon as I left the area, you can hear him walk in and get almost to the camera or to the audio recorder, and he'll slow down, and you can hear that slow leaf crunch.
Right.
Then all of a sudden you can hear peck, 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 peck on the audio recorder. Mine was on the audio recorder and the camera. I told people this is on my baby Sasquatch, part 1 and part 2. And I told people don't pay attention to what the video is doing. Listen for the sounds in the first 5 minutes. I was getting ridiculed about that. Then now all of a sudden, all the stuff that people are sending me, I can coordinate with because I have close to the same thing as what they got, and I share
Right.
mine.
Okay.
But it was. I mean, when I seen that video and that picture, I was convinced real quick. But there's like 8 or 9 in that group. She says.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
Nikki, since we haven't heard, yeah, I was gonna see what's I haven't talked to
Oops,
Nikki in a long
sorry.
time.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how to stop it.
What are you trying to do? Screen share?
Hit the stop button.
Okay. So hey, what's going on?
Not much. Just checking. I don't know if you've come across anything recent, possibly maybe down your way or just anywhere in general.
There hasn't been a whole lot that I've heard of. I've got some guys up on the reservation near the Mescaleto area in New Mexico that are consistently hearing vocalizations at night. I've been trying to get some of that audio, but you know he's been working a lot and stuff. And I've been trying to get to that area myself, but I've only scheduled a small little trip to the Arizona area, Mogollon Rim, so I can get in there like I did last year.
Well, that's cool.
So I'll be gone for 3 weeks.
Now, I was going to ask you, have you ever thought about, or I don't know if you communicate or are friends with them, but you got Christina Archuleta and her husband, Orlando. Do you have any affiliations with them by any chance?
No, I haven't. Are they the ones up in northern New Mexico?
I can't think of right off the top of my head. I know they're located in New Mexico. They are. I haven't chatted with Christina or Orlando. It's been a little while yet. But a lot of times, sometimes just the two of them, they go hiking. There's a couple of mountain hills and stuff, and there's other areas they get together and go out scout around and stuff. But I didn't know if maybe perhaps you lived nearby or you might have.
Pretty far south in El Paso. I'm not, really up in New Mexico. We're right on the border, but
Right.
it takes me a good 2.5 hours to get anywhere squatchy from here north. And
Right.
but most of my stuff it takes place in Arizona because that's my home state. So that's the area
Okay.
I'm the most comfortable with, and that I know all that um, area that I've gone to, and so that's why I go back there every year. And
Okay.
but right now I'm just really trying to establish certain places. I wouldn't call myself a researcher. I'm more of just a big enthusiast and trying to
Yeah.
get as much information as possible so that when my kids are older, I can go out and do it more often.
Yeah.
Um,
I understand it's not
but
easy when they're young, and little though.
right, right, you can't. I got to be there for them during school, so
Right.
it's not like I can pick up and go. But I know there's a lot of us out there who have to do that. Work all week and can only squatch on the weekends or go out check in the woods. So, and I
Yeah.
wish, if I still lived in Arizona, I would be a hop, skip, and a jump away from any area, but not here in Texas where I'm at right now. It's
Yeah.
pretty desert. There isn't a whole lot of anything right here in El Paso.
Yeah.
So, you do what you can. But
Hmm.
I don't know,
Yeah.
as far as anything new, just what you see on what's been going around the groups lately, that Sundance footage out of
Mhm.
Utah has really piqued my interest. But other than that, there's not a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
Have you seen that video just come out? It's about a minute 45 seconds long, where a guy catches a squatch coming back to his nesting
It,
area.
it did. Yeah, I did see that. Matter of fact, I've got it up on our group site, but I
What
don't
do
know.
you?
It looks kind of funny. There's kind of some red flags going on, but I don't know. I mean, your guess is good as mine. He seems like he seems like he's in the wrong place to be taking the photo because he mentions he wants to be downwind
Yeah, well,
and
he said he was downwind of it, and when he tried to zoom in, he said he had the flashlight in his mouth, and he
Mm.
tried to zoom in, but when he got a clear shot, I took and zoomed that in, and you can see it. It never moved,
it
but you
never
see,
moves, huh? The
like,
eyes looked kind of funky round. I don't know. It didn't look like, I don't know. I really wanted to look at it some more,
well, if you
but
take and zoom it in and brighten it a little bit, you can see. I see a slight cone over top its over
oh,
top
you
its eye.
do?
Yeah, slight. I mean, that's on this computer. Yours might be different, but this is what I'm seeing.
Let me see if I can screen share that with everybody. That one is called Bigfoot Returning.
Then
Yeah.
okay. Now I think I'm
Let's
familiar with that, but I don't think I've seen that. So.
I sent a link to Cliff because I saw it today. Actually, I saw it 2 days ago. It popped up
Hmm.
again today, so I started looking at it. And when he got to the point, I mean, he had a good picture, but when he stuck the flashlight in his mouth and he tried to zoom in,
Right.
kind of like sped it in too fast. He said he was trying to do two things at one time, but he backed out. And when he backed it up, is when I stopped it right on the dot.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and I zoomed it in. I'm gonna take and I got the copy the photograph off of it. So what I'm gonna do is take and zoom it in on my software, see what I can get as far as clearing it up wise. But it's very compelling from what I can
Hmm.
see. But I don't think the part of sitting downwind. If you're in that area, that squash is gonna know it.
Hmm. I found it, but it wants me to show the Sundance, Utah one first. Okay, how do I
Hmm.
do this? Probably this,
All right. If you got it up
this,
on an open window, yeah.
this.
Ah, there you go.
Okay, this is that first one, the Sun.
Yeah, this is the one where they catch it on the side of the road, right between two trees. They
All
have to
right.
stop and back up. That was
Yeah, I
that.
played this several times, and It looks like you can almost see some facial features. It's just, I thought it was interesting that it looked
All right,
like
hold
his
on.
arms were a lighter color than the chest or trunk.
Yeah. I need to take him. There it is right there. I need to take him, freeze that spot, clean it up, and see what I can get. It was
Looks like
And
he
this is
went on mute.
yeah. Now this one here, you said this is the Utah one, right?
Yeah, this is the Utah one.
Okay. Yeah, when you get a chance, could you send this link to me? You could either message me with it, and then Bigfoot returning to its den. I found a den that looks like a human with me.
Here's the den one.
So already
This
down for
right
hours
here,
before dark. Bigfoot. Okay.
Nikki, freeze this on 115.
Okay.
I thought it was funny that he sat down to wait for the Bigfoot to return to his den at night.
Exactly. It didn't make no sense.
Seemed like exactly.
Yeah.
So this is all right. This is supposedly the picture of the den. It's picture of the Bigfoot right before dark.
Okay, now you
Nice.
see a white dot over it, that's the Squatch. Now, if she freezes on 115, they'll show a direct eye shot.
I felt unwelcome and it was getting dark. Okay.
Right there, right there. Wait a minute. No. Yeah, right there.
That's where
There you go, right there. Now, clean that up, like, zooms in.
Now I saw the eye shine.
Right now, he stops. Now, look. If you clean that up.
I stopped it.
You
You want me
clean
to
it up.
keep going?
No, it stops right there. Now, if you zoom that in right there, you will see looks like a slight cone head right there over top of his eyes. If you clear it up, make it brighter.
Yeah, I see that.
That looks like deer eye.
Oh, Nikki. Hey, how long ago was this posted?
I don't know.
Yesterday.
Hold on. I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, well, I gotta check. I'm surprised I haven't got because I'm subscribed to that guy.
It was real recent.
Yeah.
The other thing that I see is the eyes. You know, I expected to see a yellow greenish color.
Exactly.
And maybe just the recording process didn't capture the color good, but they
Right.
look more like they're white to me.
But he did say he felt unwelcome there.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Cause see, I've chatted and spoke with this guy that I wonder if it's him that made the video or what. Me and him had some pretty good discussions. I'm gonna talk to him about this. If this is something he found and he just happened to share it on his or what. See what he can tell me about this.
Yeah, I don't know what the whole thing's behind it. It's just something I grabbed off of somebody else's group and posted to mine. And
Yeah.
you know, but everybody tears it apart, and that's okay. That's what we do, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But there's a lot of believers and a lot of non-believers, so
Yep.
just take it as it goes, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I kept I froze that particular spot and I moved it over to my pictures. Here's my pictures. So after the show here, I'm going to go back on it and go on that software and bring it up and see what I can do with it. Just brighten it up. I see it looks like a cone head on it.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. I mean, it looks all right, you know, but I wish it would have moved one way right or left just to give it a little more animation, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
the last time I remember seeing eyes shine like that, it was on Finding Bigfoot, and his girlfriend and boyfriend was walking up a hill, and that's when they turned and heard somebody turn around and look, and they seen a Squatch coming up the hill behind them. And Renee said it looks like two owl eyes because of the stick that was hanging right there over where the Squatch was standing. That's what those eyes on this video is what those eyes look like on the Finding Bigfoot show. think it was last year, the year before they had it, and everything. Renee said it could have been an owl's eyes that the girl could have seen. But those eyeballs look identical to what this guy's got.
Hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, because Daniel and them saw green eyes.
Well, yellow. Yeah.
I think the eye
Yellow, light green.
shine color just depends on what type of light you're using.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, if you've got the white light, it's going to come out different than red or ultraviolet or whatever, you know, you use.
yeah.
They're going to
Remember,
look different according
yeah,
to whatever type of light.
right. Remember me telling you guys out to camp when I go do coyote hunting, I use different colored lenses.
Yeah.
What the lenses do, what the color does, it takes the UV rays out of the light.
Mm-hmm.
And like if I have a chunk of meat swinging, and I take a straight up flashlight and put it right into a coyote's eyes, he's going to freeze in his tracks like a deer on a headlight look. But you put a colored lens on there, that takes the UV rays out, and you can have it right on his eyeball, and he'll come right into you. So if you use red, they'll get a kind of a pinkish look. If you use a yellow, you see a yellowish look. If you use green, you'll see a greenish look. You know, it's just different color lens. Blue will give you a kind of a amber type color, if you want to call it that. You know, because does anybody know if a squatch has if their pupils dilate like ours does? Does it get what colors are? I know the ones I've seen, their eyes were brown.
Well, yeah. Sometimes, depending on different species, there's a different layers in the back of the eye. Unlike with humans, sometimes there's like with primates, there's certain things that they don't have that humans have, or vice versa. Uh, Sometimes those different layers also play a role in the effect the way everything gets projected out as well, and what they see is like deer. Deer they're colorblind, but you know it
Yeah,
all depends on there's different layers and part of the retina and everything else that are in there. Uh,
the only animal in in my area that I know about in our area is a turkey. A
mm,
turkey can see color,
mm,
so they're the closest ones to a human eye as possible because they see color, they recognize movement
mm.
like a human, but their eyes are 10 times sharper. Their eyes are sharper than a hawk. A hawk can see a mouse at over 300 yards. A coyote and a fox can hear a field mouse gnawing on grass over 300 yards. So nature has its good points and their bad points as far as
Oh
the
yeah.
eyes and ears and everything. But the eyes is what.
Yeah. You know, when I was in school, they taught us that all the animals only saw black and white, and come to find out that's not true.
Yeah. So, hmm.
Because
Yeah, because some animals have better eyesight than humans do.
oh yeah,
Well, for
we,
example, we know hawks and birds do. I mean,
yeah.
you know,
But
eagles. Yeah.
uh, I'm starting to believe that Squatch has got it's like a deer or animals at nighttime. They can see like a snake. They see infrared. They use heat sensor. They use their tongue for heat sensor. That's how they get their
Right.
prey. A deer and most animals who feed at nighttime have a
Uh oh, did Freddy just freeze up on us?
still here.
Well, I was wondering if that was me.
Mm,
He
Freddy.
froze.
No, I'm
Yeah,
still
Freddy.
here.
There he
Okay,
comes.
yeah. We all saw you froze up there for a couple seconds.
Oh, I'm sitting here talking. But yeah,
uh,
each like I said, the deer and because squatches, I'm starting to believe that they do have a certain amount of night vision, like 40%,
hmm
because since they are a predator and they do hunt at night in groups that I know of. That's what I've observed here. So, you know,
Well, then that's another suspicious thing about that previous video is that it comes back to its den at night, but wouldn't it be out, hunting or scavenging or whatever at night?
Yeah, because he says he sits there for a couple hours waiting for it to come back to his
Right,
den.
right.
But you notice he
I don't
keeps
know.
the camera. You notice he keeps that camera facing right at that structure. He don't move it around watching the squatch come in or anything.
Right.
He did move it one time, and that's when they first showed that circle with that squatch. That's the only time I've seen him turn that camera. Otherwise, that it just stayed right there on that structure. So that was pretty interesting. But that guy down there in Prince George County, he's got me completely. 15 foot tall.
Well, I mean, that's like the one picture that Mr. Waterman had. He actually had one. Supposedly he was cloaked, but somehow he was able to make it out, and it was 20 feet tall according to him. But that there was, I don't know, it was nothing but a tree line. And
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I had posted it in Bigfoot Uncensored at one point in whatever. I don't know if I'll have to look it up. I'm sure I still have it underneath photos, but yeah, I found that one kind of interesting. How about you, Cliff? I know you're busy too, and have you had any recent time to get out, or do any hiking or walking around?
Not since late May. I went to Hungry Mother and heard some interesting stuff, but I didn't get anything on audio. Hey, let me play this for you. Tell me if you can hear this.
All right, go ahead.
I'm going to hit play as soon as I see the button. There it is. Did y'all hear that?
I heard the howl, but what's the talking? Was that us?
Yeah, that was Kimmy giving her Bigfoot call.
Yeah. Yeah, Kimmy was awesome. Yeah.
Let me shut that off. I thought I cut it off.
Yeah, I couldn't really make out the talking through through my headphones, but yeah, I heard the howl.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard two of them just crisp and clear as day. That was really good, man. I'll tell you what, y'all hit that spot exactly at the right time.
Yeah.
Y'all did. I like that.
Let me play one more real short one. I don't know which one to play. Let's try this one. That one's hard to make out.
Hmm.
Let me try this other one. This is the one I wanted anyway. I thought that was interesting.
What was it?
Yeah, I couldn't make it out through here, so.
It's not coming through then. I'm just playing it to my speaker and then y'all not getting it over there, I see.
Oh, okay.
It was just a whoop we heard on, well, I actually didn't hear it even, but we caught it on audio before Kimmy's calling started.
So in other words, they were coming down the ridge when y'all was getting these audio recordings, or were they right there around the Johnny house and at the entrance where y'all was at?
They had already be coming down.
Yeah, they had been working their way down because see, we were hearing movement up behind us on the ridge, and that was while we were spread out around the lake, and that was before we even headed out back towards camp. where we caught them. So, but keep in mind, like Tracy said, Tracy and Elijah, where they were set up at, yeah, they had some red eye shine up on the ridge behind them, which gave them both very uneasy feelings, and I guess you could say Elijah was kind of terrified.
That's
Had that.
that's yeah, 'cause that's where me and my brother and another boy was down at the second to the last pier. One, two, three. It was at the third pier
Yeah,
when I saw them eye shines. When I saw the red eye shine up on that ridge right there. If you're standing, if you're walking down toward the back, it's that ridge right there on your right. The real
yeah.
steep part. It was right at the top, looking right down at me. His eyes, well, I knew it was like that far apart.
If I'm not mistaken, the third one, I think I want to say that's where Elijah and Tracy were.
Yeah,
I think
I had a
so.
rock thrown at me at that spot.
Hmm.
I was standing on the pier, and I asked my brother and the boy with us, "Did y'all throw a rock?" No. And then I seen the eye shine, and I knew where it was.
Yep. Then over at where me and Cliff are located, of course, I had my headphones on connected to my parabolic mic. I picked up something on my end, and it was like a grunt, or almost like a grunt slash bark, and I had to stop and get on the radio and ask, did anybody just cough or make any noise? And I had to get a clearance. And, everyone said, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. And I knew it wasn't Cliff because he was right there behind me. So, but
Well,
yeah,
wait till I
huh?
take you up. Wait till I take you up Stanton Dam.
Yeah,
You're gonna flip when you see that place. You're gonna say, "Why didn't we come up here the first time?"
right.
I'll tell you what, man. I mean, where me and my brother sit and fish, you sit there and look at ridge. You got like three football fields of number one ridge from the front all the way to the back, and you can
Mm,
see everything on that ridge, and you can hear everything on that ridge.
yeah, man.
I
Uh-uh.
have another one.
Oh, cool. Let's see it.
Okay, this one was from a guy named Robert Dodson. I don't know if any of you have heard of Robert Dodson or not.
The name's not ringing a bell.
The guy likes to go up there in his woods and he trying to trap one, but he uses monofilament line, fishing line, and attaches it to different kinds of fruit, cantaloupes and stuff. And then he puts
Ah,
a little bell on it so that if it gets taken, he can hear it off his bell.
Oh,
Well,
someone
he's
else I know does that.
um, he's got a 19-minute video out called Bigfoot Trouble in the Woods. And
mm,
I got right to the point where you're gonna see some huge eye shine, and he won't walk in there because he's armed, but he's pretty scared of this thing. And I swear, at one point I see 3 sets of eyes. So I'm gonna
mm.
put this and see if you guys can see what I see.
Okay.
There's one. There's one.
Yeah, I see up in the bushes. I saw something.
That's a tree.
Yeah, over there by the tree there with overhanging limbs.
Uh-huh.
It looks like there's almost something there.
There's two.
I see a
Almost.
Oh, that's a bug.
yeah flying by. Then we see her mouse flying by too. Let's see.
There's two.
Mm. For a second, it almost looked like there was another set next to that.
Yeah.
Yep. I see something in there.
Yeah, right there. That's 2. Yeah, there's 3. Oh, wait. Look right there. Right on
One's
top.
higher. You got 2 there. One higher than the other, or something.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
about
it looks like one up at the higher was peering around behind the tree,
Yeah.
and
That's
the
a
one
big one.
down front was
And
it
it
peering around
moves.
the
You
other?
can definitely see it move.
That last little shot was interesting.
Yeah. Oh,
Look,
there
look.
it is.
Oh, wow. That's, yeah.
That's a
You could
big
definitely
one.
make that. Yeah, you could definitely make that out.
God, the humidity's hot.
What's that, Fred?
The humidity's killing me.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty much the gist of that. You know, he's got a lot of him moving around and looking for his line and his bell, and but from 1047 to 1352 is when you get all that eye shine that he points at.
Yeah.
And then you hear the big snap of the break of the tree. Did you hear that?
No, we don't have. I don't know if they did. I didn't have no audio of it on my end.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, right
Yeah.
I
at that
couldn't
point.
hear audio.
Oh, okay. He talks a little bit through it, and you hear a huge snap of a
Yeah.
tree, and that's when he gets freaked out, and he'll pick up his stuff and walk out. But it's really good footage, you know. I recommend anybody to go to Robert Dodson's
Okay. Now,
YouTube
where
channel and check that out.
are you familiar with whereabouts? Does he get? Does he take his footage, his videos from,
Oh my
statewide?
gosh. No, I don't.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can find out real quick.
I enjoyed watching that the other day. Well, I should say watch. The longer ones I tend to give more listening time to and busy myself doing other things.
Yeah.
So I missed the eye shine, but that looked pretty good
Yeah,
there on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how
If you
I
missed
am.
it, take a look. It definitely showed it a couple times there, Cliff, like 2 or 3 times. Like
Yeah, I
that.
could see it here when
You
Nikki
got.
was showing us. So thanks for showing us what time to look at, Nikki.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I hadn't been bored, I probably wouldn't have watched the whole thing either. But, you know, sometimes I do watch everything all the way through, and I was like, whoa, because he gives no indication on it.
Hmm.
There's a lot of researchers that have some good videos, and you have no idea what they've got on them.
Right.
You know, just like Mitchell Waite, he's got one video out there where it growls. You can see his face in the tree, and then you hear the growl. And it was like, oh my God, this thing's gonna attack Mitch, you know.
Hmm.
And that's his August 8th of last year. Is it last year or the year before? I think it
It
was
may be
last
last year.
year's. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the best, you know. I was like, oh, yep, he got one. You know, that was like dead on that he got one on tape. And
Yeah.
I heard the growl, and it was not a bear, it was not a mountain lion, you know, it was something else.
Right.
And but anyway, I liked this video too.
There's a lot of them out there, man. We just got to go to different websites, like go into one of our friends' websites, go to his friends who are researchers and look through their videos and everything, find the thing good. But here lately, man, a lot of stuff is coming up. seems like more people, about 40% more people starting to see signs.
Yeah.
Not only in Virginia, but East Coast, Midwest, and West Coast.
Oh yeah. Hmm. That's pretty cool. Fred, yeah, Fred wanted to discuss about a few things here, mainly about he wanted to get into discussing and sharing about what to look for while out in the field, while squatching. Fred, are you ready to go ahead get into that?
Yeah, basically what I wanted to say was, a lot of people want to learn about getting into Sasquatch or Bigfoot, but you do have people out there, who's showing like certain people we know that show all these off-the-wall videos and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And what the videos I got, what I showed, what I explained, and then I want thoughts and everything. When you go in the woods, yeah, you walk around and everything, and you see a snap, you're like, ooh, wow, that's an interesting snap. Wonder who did that, or did nature do that? Because when I first started, everybody was telling me, oh, it's nature, it's nature. And the more you observe, and you basically, when you look at that structure, you look at how it's designed. And nature can't do anything like that.
Right.
You know, and if you also look, if you find a structure, look on the ground. You'd be surprised at what you see. I
Yeah.
found I got a few videos out where I'm looking at structures, and I just happen to pan down to the ground while I'm talking, and there's a structure. I found letters like A, F, Z, found the number 4, or stuff like that. And that's that's one thing I'm figuring out now. When they make their structures, they put a small structure made out of sticks on the ground or next to that structure. I'm starting to think that that's another way that they're communicating. Like it's kind of like instead of like us writing a
Right.
message, they'll leave a message with like a certain design. I mean, I got some weird designs that I found on the ground underneath that structure.
Yeah. Well, let me interrupt you for a second. That's like when me and Cliff, when we went to go check in the gifting area during the expedition. Uh, on one of our second times back up there, I think it's when we went to go check on the peanut butter and the other stuff that was there. We came across two sticks that were not there before. Because keep in mind, the area was pretty much somewhat clear in front of the gifting area, but we had two sticks that were like almost like an X or like a T, or whatever how you wanted to look at it, the angle you wanted to look at. But that we found interesting, and I believe Cliff got that on the video as well.
Yeah,
But
I've
that's
seen
something we
that.
found.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we found that to be very interesting. So
yeah, because I try to tell people that too. By looking at the regular structure and then looking on the ground, maybe if you take that structure and look at what's on the ground and combine them together, that sends a message. They're like, hey, you need to. It might be like the stick facing north, but the structure on the ground, a little figure on the ground can say, but northeast. You know,
hmm
maybe a little left. It's kind of I say a signal. Not a signal, but a message is what I see.
right,
Yeah, and when you see something like that, you find a trail that is about a foot and a half, 2 foot wide, and as flat as a pancake. When you walk down there, look at broke, look at weeds that are bent or stepped on. Look for little twigs that are snapped about waist high up. Just look for little teeth. I'll tell you something else you can check out. When you walk through a pine thicket, you can always tell when someone has been through there. 90% of the trails that you walk on, in a pine thicket, what's the first thing that you encounter?
probably a lot of snap limbs. Um,
Spider webs.
oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I see what you're getting at.
Remember I was telling you that back when I took you in that area?
Right, right.
I was told that when a squatch comes through that area and it's on the widest path or the thinnest path in a pine thicket, because when I go to a pine thicket, spider webs just eat me alive. But
Yeah.
I've learned after you hit certain trails in the thicket, you don't hit no spider webs because something's done been
Uh,
through there.
yeah, or either that, or maybe it's well traveled.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could be well traveled because sometimes even knocking off a spider web, if it's perhaps if it's an area that spiders are staying in, sometimes they've been known to make their webs within the next day. But yeah,
exactly.
perhaps it's a well traveled area or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but that's something to think about too. Spider webs. As you notice when I took you up in that pine thicket there, you notice we've seen a lot of structures.
yeah,
Then we run into that area that was like up there at Elkhorn area where we first camped at. We run into
right.
that area right there, but it was only a small area, and the
Mm.
rest of it was like in my area here. But that one area that looked like your area. But if you notice when we was there, you even pointed out to me if you stand in front of it and look down it, you had like 3 or 4 X's back to back to back to back.
Yeah,
That's that's a message. That's telling me it's a message of either juveniles to stay out or this area is taken or something like that. But I tell
mm.
people when you go in, the simplest way I do, I tell them to go in, find a nice spot, just sit down and just listen. When you first get there, everything's be quiet because you're making noise. But after about 10, 15 minutes, everything should start back up to crickets, the birds, and all that stuff moving around. And you hear that, and all of a sudden it goes dead silent. Sit there and listen. Listen real good. Listen for crickets. Listen for frogs. Look and listen for squirrels. Listen to birds. Listen to crows. If you see a deer, watch it. Look at his tail. Look at his ears. Like when I went down to my area one time, I seen 2 deer, and I noticed. And I'm a hunter, and I'm always intensely watching deer.
Right.
Their tail and their ears will tell you everything. These guys were looking to the left. Their tails started to raise. Their right ear was flopping around, but that left ear was set dead in that area. And all of a sudden, they took off like a bolt of lightning. So that told me something was in there that they were scared of, and everything got quiet. Didn't hear no walking. Didn't hear no birds. Didn't hear nothing. People need to start, you know, uh, basically listening.
Yeah, observing. Yeah,
Yeah, your nose, your eyes, and your ears are your weapons. You just got to know how to use them. Because it's like that video I sent to you last night. They took a chunk of wood, cut it flat like a record player, put it on a record player, and used a computer, and it played music. So it communicated. All right, nature communicates with nature in different ways.
yeah.
All we have to do is learn to pick up on it. Every time I go to my areas, I learn more and more and more. And all I'm doing is just passing on what I'm learning. To basically to help beginners.
Mm. Well,
Or
Fred,
we,
let me ask you a question. Since you've worked with trees and stuff before, perhaps you've probably seen my post I had earlier. Say that we have a neighbor. She's an older elderly woman, probably in her upper 70s, but she likes to go off for a walk up on our road. And she meets up with the other lady on the other end of the road. They kind
does
of
she
meet
walk?
halfway.
Does she walk all the way back to the back there to the dead end where that guy's got that little farm back there?
No, well they start from there and they go up to the where it turns off there where you turn onto my road.
Oh, okay.
They might go a little further up. I don't know. They don't go too far because the older woman she uses a cane and everything. And but they came up. They saw us sitting outside. It was me, Brianna, and my father was sitting out there, and and they came up to say hi to us and just talk. And at one point, she happens to bring up, well, I guess both of them were back there on their property. They have like 20 something acres, maybe more. I don't know, but it's all wooded around them. And of course, further down, it goes down to the South River.
Right.
And she was telling us they heard a loud tree crash. Now the tree it sounded like a pretty large tree from the way they described it, and it was a loud crash. And she said what got them was there was no wind, no wind. It was a calm, quiet day. And next thing they know, they hear this big crash. Now, I did a questionnaire poll posting in my in a couple of the groups, and I was just trying to figure out, could it be a possibility? Could that have been a Bigfoot? Or could it have been just because the tree might have been dead enough and just happened to got weak and just happened to fall over? Now, I mean, I think we could actually, I'm thinking we could rule out a bear in this situation.
Right.
I mean, we know bears play with trees too, but, you know.
Basically, when a tree dies or is going dead, like I've went in the woods and I've walked past trees that were dead and the wind was dead still, and 12 foot at the top of it just snapped out of it.
Yeah.
It's called centrifugal force. But the older a tree gets, the weaker the roots get.
Right.
I've seen, a good example when I was working with aspen. I was a sidewalk, and we're standing there on the power lines, and all of a sudden this tree about 4.5 foot around, about 40 foot tall, just dropped, just uprooted, fell right over.
Right.
Centrifugal force, but there's really no answer to why it does. It could be the soil was breaking up, due to the rain, or it was too dry, or it was too wet, because in the wooded area you got a lot of pure 100% grade topsoil, and you got rocks, because the Shenandoah Valley is rocky, limestone rocks. If you ever notice when you go down toward the river, you start seeing limestone rocks everywhere. And
yeah,
that tree could have been, had rocks, grew around a bunch of rocks when it grew up, and finally it just got to the age, it just dropped. So there's really no explanation why something like that happened, and being an arborist, I was an arborist for like 15 some years, and it's really hard to explain. I mean, a tree straight up, you can put a level on it, it'd be level all the way around. You come back next day, it's enough root and hit the ground. It's just really age of the tree, either the soil was too wet or it's too dry. Certain trees got deep roots, certain trees got shallow roots. Like oak trees, their roots are about 1.5 to 2 foot down the ground.
Yeah.
Maple trees go 8 to 10 feet down, an old maple. And some trees, like pines, their roots ain't but 8 inches deep.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to tell,
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, one thing I did ask her, I asked her if she's seen any sign of bear around. I mean, just for the heck of it, I personally don't know the size of the tree. It's just that, I kept it simple. I said, we've had bears in the neighborhood come through the yard and everything before too, and we know bears come around because we seen bears scatter around there and in the past. But she said, well, not that she knows of, she hasn't seen no bear because they got a lot of deer on their property. That's mainly about it because they have some old apple trees. They have a small little orchard over there, right before you go into the woods that lead down to the river.
Yeah.
And they get tons of deer down that way, and we get deer through the yard on occasions. But yeah, that's why I was wondering. I have yet to ask her if she'll let me go, kind of scout around, and I kind of want to do an investigation, right across the street there, the road there. But so, but I found that interesting, So because after they left, I looked at Dad. I said, Dad, he knew what I was thinking too. He said, yeah. He said, Dad said, yeah, that could have been a Bigfoot.
Well, it could have been because me and a buddy of mine, a truck driver, we went down to a place called down there right there on the backside of New Hope,
Yeah.
And we're on a 800-acre farm, and there's a little patch about 50 yards wide that goes down to the river. And I found 3 tree snaps in there that were twisted to the right. So I looked for tracks. From what I've seen and how old it was, it could have been 5 to 10 years ago it happened.
Right.
You know, because, and when I hunted over on 254, right there at the corner of 796 and 254, we found tree snaps, tree bend, and we found a big footprint. And this is in the middle of Augusta County.
Yeah.
On flat land. So, you know, I cast it and give it to my buddy, you know, and it was a 12-inch footprint. He stepped right on top. I said, I'd be looking at the ground. I've seen it. So, and we told the owner, you know, you had a squatch come through your area. He said he should have charged the rent, you know, but they do travel. So, you know, that could have been possible. It could have been one. Might not have been one. Who knows? You know,
Right.
It's really hard to tell unless you really go down there and look at that tree. That's not the way to really tell.
Yeah, based off of a report that came that was brought to me by somebody I know real well 20 years ago. I mean, they had a road crossing, you know, over in the New Hope area.
Oh,
you know, that's, you know, over on the back roads. It was, you know, following the tree line where there was a creek, you know, and you know, the lady that told me about this, she knew what she saw. So, you know, in that general area, they could have been coming from down off the mountain, Skyline Drive, you know, coming down, just, you know, or actually from the area she was at, it was probably closer to the Grand Caverns area, coming from that direction, headed, you know, more or less west.
Yeah, well, if you think up there behind Twitty's and Grottos, once you get to the crossroads, instead of taking that right, just kind of stay straight, which goes up toward National Forest.
Right.
My first wife's uncle lived up in there, and he's told me he's seen over a 15-year period. He's counted 9 squatches across the road right there.
Oh wow!
This is right after you pass that dirt road where the sawmill's on.
Mm-hmm.
Right up in that area there. And that's I think that's the area. I think that's the area you went up into one time up toward the Parkway.
Yeah, I still have part 3 to post of that video. I have part 3 because I was trying to put them all together, but it took too long to do the whole thing to make it one video. So I put 2 or 3 together at a time, and I think I got like two more videos to put them together to make a video. So
well, they do come down, and they do come, like mine was the one in October was headed over to a dumpster over in Ridgeview Acres area.
Right.
And that's right there where the private property meets National Forest. There's a big dumpster, and that's the way that squatch was headed when I just happened to interrupt it crossing the road there, you know.
Yeah.
And everything. So anything's possible. Yeah.
Cool.
It's interesting. It seems like there's been a lot viewed crossing at that same one location.
Yeah.
Now, what about down in your area, Cliff?
I usually have to go to the top of the mountains to get close to them.
Yeah.
Unless I go in the woods and camp out, and then they come check a camp out usually.
I'll tell you, when I had those 2 boys from Maryland down here, the buddy of the one, it was what's Mike's last name, Daniel?
Oh, I don't know if I'll try to say it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Michael.
You know his,
yes.
You know his buddy. Went travels with him.
Yeah, I haven't met him. I'm not sure who he is, but yeah, I'm familiar with him. But
he was the one that about come out of his skin that night. Those 2 come up to the camp.
Yeah.
He didn't know what they were. I thought it was comical.
Yeah.
I mean, everything, you know, but yeah, they do. You know, I tell people they're like wolves and coyotes. They follow the food source.
Yep.
And where you live at, down at the river, up across the road, going up toward the Parkway, a lot of deer. You got tons of deer down here in the
Yeah, up across the road where I'm at, when I go through the woods there, I mean, you could get. I mean, I've seen all kinds of deer sign up there.
Yeah.
I mean, their deer droppings are humongous. I mean, they got big deer up there. I've seen the big deer tracks up there, and I have actually seen some squatch signs up there. You know, the different various types of tree snaps, small little structures. And the other thing I found interesting was I actually, you know, this is like a year or two ago when I was last up there, but in this one specific area, I've actually seen stacked stones, which you know I know other people have found as well. You
Yeah.
know, if that's I've seen two sets of them in two different areas, and they were actually close to actual trails that were going up there. Now, if somebody's doing that, I don't know, but I found
Well,
that very interesting.
back in the early 1800s, when the Shenandoah Valley was finally getting started, they did it all
Yeah,
across the United States. It used to be property line markers that they would
yeah,
stack rocks. You
yeah.
know,
No, actually, the trails that these are close to, these are like ATV trails, like trails that they use for like riding four wheelers. Because if you go up, you know, the further you go up on, you know, onto the mountain,
yeah.
there's you'll actually come across hunters got their tree stands still setting up there right now, the portable ones. So
National Forest.
it must be just on the borderline or something because they have that must be some part of somebody's property or something.
Okay, so yeah, because if it's on National Forest, you can
Oh
legally
yeah,
take it. You
that
can't go do
exactly.
anything.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bet
Because
you blind.
when I discovered them, this was like almost last winter because there was still snow on the ground.
Yeah, but you know, living in my area because I'm right off the parkway, so you really ain't got to travel. But most, you know, and like down in your area and my area, you know, the chance they do come down to the river sometimes.
Right.
She could have had. I mean, one could have snapped a tree, pushed a tree over. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
really hard to really say, but it's something to think about.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah. It's
when you
definitely
see her
something worth
again,
checking into.
yeah, when you see her again, ask her if you can have permission to walk down there, and ask
Oh
her
yeah.
which direction was it sound coming from, and walk down
Yeah.
there and look at that tree.
Because I know they do give one or two people permission to hunt there during the hunting season there. But
Yeah.
you know, so yeah, you know, since they know us real well, I don't see why you know, she wouldn't allow me just to walk through there. You know,
Well, ask her
scout
if you can go
around.
down to the river and fish. You
Yeah.
can
Well,
take
actually,
your daughter.
a long time ago, the river through there is actually real fast rapids and a lot of rocks right there. Yeah, real. I mean, because I walked through that field. I went in through the field through the woods a long while back and saw how there was a lot of. I seen what the river looked like, and there was just a lot of rocks and fast rapids through that part of the river. So
That's the best place to get red eye bass.
yeah. Oh yeah. So
But, yeah, just ask
yeah,
her if you and your daughter could just cruise down there, and check it out.
yeah, that'd be interesting. So yeah. Now I might be going back up to over in the George Washington National Forest 4th of July weekend. Um, Brianna wants to go camping, and I said, "Well, where do you want to go?" And I said, "It's she said, "I want to go up there where we camped at when you took me up there." Like I guess she was trying to describe when. I said, "Yeah, that was about 3 years ago." She wants to go to the camp in the North River campground where there's they got the picnic tables right there. Yeah,
Oh, that place is gonna be slam packed.
yeah, that's what I told her. I said, "Yeah, there'll probably be a lot of people up there that weekend." But I said, "If we do that, I'll have to get up. We'll have to go up there Thursday after I get off of work to get set up." But because she wants to camp in the same spot we camped at before, is right there with the river split and comes in, it joins at that point in there. Because
Yeah,
at nighttime, that's all you hear is the water running behind you. So, but yeah, that's what she wants to do. So I might be going up there, and it might give me a chance to scout around that general area, which is, roughly almost 2 miles from where we were had base camp.
yeah. 4th of July, that place is slammed with people. Me and my wife camped out 3 camp spots before you get to that little campsite there. It was wild.
Yeah.
But if you take and go by Elkhorn Lake and just take right all the way to the end, you'll come to Stanton Dam because it'll come right. There's a dead end right there, and the dam is the dead end part.
Oh yeah, I've been up on the top of the dam before. I haven't walked around the backside of it.
Hey, Daniel, you mentioned rock stack a minute ago. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm sorry. Yeah, I
Uh,
think Fred's froze up though.
I got a picture from a hike I took on the Appalachian Trail, and I'd like to screen share that so y'all can see it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fred, if you could hear us, you're froze up right now. We don't. All we see is your face. I don't know if you're still talking, but you're froze. So I don't know what Fred's doing.
Yeah, he said he's frozen on the group chat.
Oh.
Okay, can y'all see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, this was, and it's not really a rock stack. I thought it was a couple rocks, but it was an unusual rock on top of a log that wasn't there when I went through, and it was when I came back.
Okay.
Of course, it was on the trail,
That is interesting though. Now that
and
style of rock almost looks like it could be. Okay, that's a different angle. That same rock, right?
yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, we know that's not normal. So.
Nope, that's too
It
big.
had definitely, sorry, Nikki, it had definitely been placed there.
No, that's like I don't know. If you look through some of my pictures, I have them on my YouTube channel. I have sideshow sideshows of different pictures. Now, one of the things I do believe I have on there is it's an old dead cut off stump. Now, this was like on Thursday or Friday because I was by myself those last 2 days, and I did some hiking around in different parts of the woods up behind where we had our encounter. And I just thought it was odd. Somebody or something placed it there. It was a large flat rock. I don't know. It might have been around 8 to 10 inches round, but it was only about a little over an inch thick. So it was kind of like a flat rock that just happened to be laying on top of the stump. I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting, and there was a lot. There were some pine tree limbs. They looked fairly fresh. They were laid, kind of scattered around that area. But sometimes even fresh pine limbs sometimes fall. But I don't know how that rock had actually been there apparently for a while because I picked it up, looked at it. You could tell it was, from the outline underneath of it and everything, it was there for a good while. But yeah, I occasionally find things like that. When I was in Pennsylvania back in 2011, I was hiking around this national forest up there, and one of the things I found up there, I found a rock that was wedged between like two tree roots that was sticking out of the ground. I don't know. I found that kind of interesting. Then another finding was a clump of mud and some stones kind of packed together, sitting on top of a bush. I found odd things like that. It's kind of interesting because you don't know. I mean, it kind of makes you wonder.
Yeah, if you think about it,
Sounds odd.
finding Bigfoot had one of the shows, and Bobo come across a small rock about that big around in a hole of a tree.
Hmm.
And his theory was maybe they placed him rocks at certain intervals in their ambush area.
Yeah.
Like they're chasing a deer, they can stop that tree, they can get that tree, grab that rock, and throw it, or something like that.
Well, that's interesting that you say that that you bring that up, Fred, because the one area where I found in Pennsylvania, when I found that mud and those rocks clustered together, sitting on top of a bush, in that general area, which I kind of more or less named it as a deer cemetery, because there was scattered deer bones and clusters of deer bones all over the place. Because I've actually had I have pictures of them. They're just scattered around in different areas all through that whole area. There's nothing but dead deer bones. It's like maybe could that be an area where they feed, or is that or where they throw their remains? And this general area. Keep in mind, there's no hunting in this general area, so it kind of makes you wonder. So
I
I
was
found that.
really impressed by the amount of broken deer bones in the George Washington National Forest accumulated in that one little spot that had all those pine cones ripped apart near
Yeah,
our gifting station.
right. Yeah, all that is interesting. Um, hmm. Now the thing is to consider there is there is hunting allowed in that area during the season, but you know it's hard to say if that those are remains from a deer carcass from a hunter, which got remain and critters scattered the bones, but anything's
Could have
possible
been,
though.
but still, do you remember the bones were broken open to get at
Yeah,
the marrow inside?
yeah.
Yeah,
Squashes do eat the marrow. Squirrels eat the marrow. Certain rodents eat marrow. Now, you notice it's very rare you find deer horns in the woods. But
Yes.
when you do, you notice you'll see gnaw marks on them. The
Yes.
squirrels
yeah,
and rodents eat the bones because of the nutritional value.
yeah. Because on a lot, especially on deer bones, there's usually a lot of calcium deposit
Yeah,
built up on them
exactly.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
calcium. That's the word. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I guess if to find a set of antlers, they got to be fairly fresh,
Right.
freshly dropped.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I mean, I know people. I hear people that have found them, but it is a rare thing to find that. So, yeah.
But if you go up there to Staten Dam and, like I say, you go up in some steps and you got an upper and a lower trail. The lower trail will take you down to the lake area where it's like a cave area.
Yeah.
Yeah, people used to jump off of it. Take the upper trail and now to walk you all the way around to the back where the stream
Hmm.
feeds. That's where you need
Okay.
to be. That's where you need to be. You wouldn't
Yeah.
believe what you find back there.
Hey, you guys give me a few minutes. I'll be right back. I'm gonna step away for a second. I'll be right back, and I'm gonna come back. And when I come back, I'll have just a couple things to go over before we close. So, guys, yeah, just give me a couple minutes.
All right.
All right, Daniel.
Must be potty break
Well,
time.
what's that, Freddie?
Must be potty break. But no, I tell you, man, up there at the dam, me and my brothers, we sat there because what you do, you get to the top of the steps and there's like a tree right there the only tree right there at the bank. We would go on the other side of the tree and fish, and you could look at that whole ridge at nighttime. You got a big spotlight, and I've seen red eyes, I've seen green eyes, I've seen yellow eyes, I've seen all sorts of eyes over there, and
Sounds like a good place to go fish for the
it is.
night.
Well, that's what we do. We do go fishing over there because I've hooked into cats over there. I couldn't pull in. It was something big. Let's put it to you that way. And I use a deep sea pole, and I use 90 to 100 pound spider wire, and it's breaking my wire.
That's
Now,
one of them big cats.
this is a man-made reservoir that was put there 50 to 80 years ago. When you get to the thing, the wall is about 90 foot high, and it's got a fence around it. But what most people don't know is if you sit there at that spot and fish, you ain't got to move. You can see from the front all the way to that rock wall, which is 60 foot high. It's on the across the other thing. But if you take that trail and go around to it, it'll bring you down off the ridge, down to where the stream feeds in at. And we've had rocks thrown at us from that wall. We didn't know what it was. We was out catching catfish. We had a guy
Yeah.
with us who swears if you have a fire lit while you're catfishing, the smoke on the water will scare the fish away.
I hadn't heard that.
He's he was a weird guy. I mean, his beliefs were really weird, you know. But we've had
I've
rocks
heard if
thrown.
it thunders, you might as well quit catfishing.
Yeah, we've had I've heard grunts, growls, yells, you know, and when you with a bunch of guys, you don't think about squatch. I don't, I've never really thought about it, you know. But we kept wondering what the hell? We was thinking it was might have been a mountain lion or a bear up there on the top, and looking at us and turned, went to walk and happened to kick a rock off.
Yeah.
But these rocks were hitting right in front of us, and we're about 50 yards from that wall. But that's the place to put a game camera at nighttime. Daniel would take and set his camera because no one goes around there at nighttime. Nobody. He put his camera up right there where it comes out of the woods, and faces it right there, like in the woods, but facing out toward the reservoir
Yeah.
where the stream feeds in. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he caught something on that.
Hmm.
It takes you about 20 minutes to walk around to it.
Yeah.
But I will guarantee you probably will catch something if you know how to hide that camera real good.
Right. Yeah. It just takes time and trying to be persistent with it. But,
Yeah.
yeah. Before I came back on here, because Brianna walked into the room, she says, "Could they see me?" I said, "No." I said, "I have the camera turned off and it's on mute, so they can't hear you either." So,
I'll let her come on the show once in a while.
yeah, she didn't want to. I said, "Here, you want to say hi?" She said, "No," but she said, "I see Cliff." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Fred's on there too."
Well, tell her I want her to come on. I want to ask her some questions about her little Bigfoot excursions with you up on the mountain. Y'all do a father-daughter day. I want to see
Yeah.
what kind of answer she gives.
Well, if we do go up there that 4th of July weekend, yeah, hopefully maybe we'll have something she could share then. But of course, she's not really a believer. No, and she's I don't know if she's more on the skeptic side, but she likes what I do and she respects it. She talks to her friends at school about it and stuff, and they got this computer class they do, and sometimes they're allowed to look stuff up, and she puts in E.C.B.R.O. and all kinds of stuff pops up. She said, "Yeah, Daddy, I see you on computer at work when I'm at school." I said, "Oh, that's cool." So, yeah, she shows her friends and stuff, I was like, "Oh, okay." Because, yeah, she just Googled it, and all kinds of stuff about me comes up. I said, "What exactly are you Googling? What are you putting in? Show me." I have her show me at home. I said, "Oh, okay, those are just pictures and stuff." But then, then a few of the, the Facebook sites show up. But, yeah. So I said, "Well, if you want to show your friends stuff," I wrote down, I said, "Go to this here. It shows a lot more."
Yeah, well.
I give her the website, address and stuff, um, yeah. One thing Cliff is working on, he shared something with me. I guess Cliff, when we get it, when you get all situated, Cliff is actually working on like a spreadsheet, kind of like for a database where we can share reports and sightings, as for E.C.B.R.O. members or even other non-members, for different areas along the East Coast that we could kind of keep track on. Perhaps we could work on a section just for like mainly Virginia itself or something too. But yeah, Cliff, I think will give us more detail when he gets that situated, because he does have a link for that. Maybe we could, when you get that going better. So yeah, I like your idea. I like what you shared with me, Cliff, on that.
Yeah, Google Docs is pretty powerful, and hopefully when we get the columns for the information that we want in the document spreadsheet, we
Yeah.
can work on getting a form, and then you just fill the form out, anybody, anywhere, and save it online. It automatically updates the spreadsheet.
Okay.
And then we can sort the database however we want. Of course, that can be made available to anybody, and you can restrict who can add it as well.
Ah, okay. Awesome. Yeah, or either that, perhaps like if people want to just give reports, whatever, and then maybe just share them to you. If you want to just keep it organized the way you want it, that way they can submit a report, and then maybe you can post it to yourself. That way everyone that way if it needs to be edited for any reason, I don't know, because
Yeah, I think the forms could be, easily edited to correct spelling or whatever.
right.
Hey, Daniel,
Yeah.
I'm talking to this person now. See if I can if I can share that audio.
Okay.
Everything I ain't heard back from you yet. I might ask her about the picture too.
Yeah. Just a reminder, next Saturday we have our E.C.B.R.O. Uncut Open Discussion Show. We have a guest, Stacy Brown from Bigfoot Bounty. Yeah, he's from Bigfoot Bounty. Anyone that's familiar with that. Also, he's located out of Florida. Perhaps people also have seen him on the Finding. He appeared on Finding Bigfoot. Um, Yeah, him and his father had their thermal footage, the black and white thermal footage, which was pretty impressive. Um, but we're gonna have him here on next Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about what he's been up to since the show and see what he's been doing with that money he's been granted. So
Yeah.
I've the only thing I really actually know right now, I know he's been doing some videos and stuff, but I don't know nothing about that. So perhaps we'll get some better details, input from him. So that should be very interesting. And then of course, then July we got the 19th at 8 p.m. With a young guy named River Gibbs. I shared one of his video. He's got something he's going to be starting on YouTube. He's going to start doing these shows with different Bigfoot footage, and he's gonna do, I guess, some editing, I forget what exactly he said he was gonna do with it. Probably, I don't know, sharing videos, and he's gonna make his own show out of it. So I don't know. I guess when he gets around to that, and he'll share some information with that. And he's very intelligent. I mean, I don't know. I want to say he's about 18, 19. I mean, for a young guy, he's very intelligent. Then the 26th at 9 p.m. we have a young lady by the name of Summer Snape. She was known by Summer Snape, but her actual real name is Lowry. She's part of the Crypto Four Corners crew, and there's one other gentleman that's going to be joining her that's actually more or less her mentor and affiliated with the whole Crypto Four Corners. So, and just a reminder, I know before I even say that, Cliff, thank you again on your Bigfoot T-shirt purchase. That's another thing I haven't checked. I haven't had no recent emails of any new purchases, so I'm not sure. It's hard to keep track of the days left on that. I want to say there's probably between maybe 9 days left.
I think it ends next Friday, Daniel.
Okay, so yeah, it's maybe 7 to 8 days left. About 7 days, 7 or 8 days left. Yeah, because what we're trying to hit at least 20 sales to make it actually go through. But I think there's like up to I want to say 5 sales on it right now. So if I'm not mistaken.
Doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Sometimes there's one gentleman. The last couple times I had shirt sales on, he's actually bought quite a few of them. One time, the one sale, he bought 10 shirts. One he bought like 5 or something. And then let's see who else. Christina Archuleta, she bought shirts for me. She bought one. I think about four or 5 of them. One for her and her husband and her 2 girls. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep sharing it. I'll share that a few more times. I try to share it in the groups that are,
All right, I'm gonna share that link.
the more larger groups.
I'm gonna share that link with you right now, Danny.
All right.
Let
Uh,
me know
eh,
when you
yeah.
got.
Send it to my send it to email. Yeah, send it in Messenger on Facebook.
There you go. You got it.
Oh, okay. I just heard the click, the little beep. Okay. Well, I am going to end the live broadcast. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and participating. I hope to see you guys next week, Saturday at 9 p.m. with Stacy Brown. And if you guys have any other, keep an eye out on, other updates and news postings. A lot of things are shared in other groups. Because we'll have Stacy Brown, we'll have him talking for the first hour, and then usually in the second hour, I try to go into more, other Bigfoot topics and stuff. And the guests, is allowed to join in, and discuss with that too, and their input. So, if you guys have anything to discuss, we'll get into that afterwards. And thank you very much, and see y'all later.